Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Well, welcome to Lady Journey, everybody. Welcome to Lady Journey. We are here with Dan Rosen. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
And you go by Cannibal Milkshake both on Instagram and TikTok?
Just on TikTok. On Instagram, I'm just the Dan Rosen.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
So why two on?
The TikTok is I was in a sketch group with my friend Jeff, and so I started posting them there.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of like doing more acting stuff, and so I just greedily took it over.
Yeah.
But the Instagram, we didn't have an Instagram, so it was just and it took off on mine, so I just started posting on mine.
Okay.
Great.
But
I love the Cannibal Milkshake stuff. You guys did such fun, kind of like wacky. What was the inspiration for a lot of your work with that?
I think we both went to art school, and we did a lot of film production there, and so we were like, oh, we know how to, shoot and edit and do everything ourselves, so we can make slick videos. And that was something that was exciting in 2013. And then the entire comedy world went to as little frills, DIY aesthetic as possible.
And it's rejoiced.
Yeah, it's good for everyone, but me and Jeff.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. It seems like the more effort you put into something for online, the less reward you get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just talking into your phone and that's it. Anything other than that, it's stop trying.
Well,
right?
even ads. You see ads on TikTok, they're not slick. They're shot with their phones. They're mimicking TikTok trends. I think because people subconsciously just will swipe up. They're oh, this is too slick. This is too produced.
Yeah, they're oh, obviously this is an ad. I had that, that caviar girl. Remember her? She was always oh, you got to try it with Doritos and sour cream.
Oh, caviar
and she
girl.
always looked really good. And then you find out she's from the heiress of a caviar family.
Oh no!
But it's just funny.
Yeah.
She was the first one that people
In my head,
started
I thought
getting.
You were talking about Caviar, the delivery app.
Oh no! But she was one of the first that I felt we all fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then it started. You start realizing, and now you can send. I've been swiping a lot through TikTok because I'm this is ads. This is somebody's Amazon storefront. This
Seems
is.
It's getting worse.
It's all
it's
product that's
totally,
being shot at you.
It's totally saturated. Yeah.
Yeah. But so your background, you moved into more of art critique.
Yeah.
I love the celebrity, people with a lot of money and their bad art taste.
Yes, that's become a popular
funny.
one. I mean, just shitting on celebrities is rich people and how we could all be
you
better
can't go
rich people.
wrong.
You can't go wrong.
Well, that's why I always thought the college scandal was the scandal that America needed. It brought us all together, and there's no real victims.
Yes, exactly.
Because even Felicity Huffman going to prison for 3 days.
Aunt Becky.
It's okay.
No, Lori Loughlin.
Yeah. Not a big deal.
So when you were critiquing the art, what's your background? Are you just you seem to know really what you're talking about.
Yeah, thank
so
you. I'm faking it well. No.
Yeah, because we're where do you get the audacity for your opinions?
Yes, that's true. Well,
because I couldn't come up with that because people would probably say comments. I'm I can't back this up with any education.
Yeah. So I went to art school.
What art school did you go to?
I went to Cornell.
Okay.
And I studied art and art history. And I drew growing up, and when I left college, I was still painting, and there was a time where I was doing comedy and art, and I was I can only have one absolutely moronic dream. I gave it up. So I definitely have that background in I go to art galleries and museums, and I have taste. I feel like a fraud though, because there are people who actually have PhDs and really know what they're talking about. So I make sure I research everything, and I'm pronouncing the name right.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and I don't want anyone in the comments being actually it's pronounced prouvé, not proof for the chair or whatever. It's okay, I don't want this.
Yeah.
I need to be bulletproof. But yeah, I guess I've developed a taste.
Yes.
And
now, what would you say your taste is?
What my taste is, I think there's especially in the art world, there's it's very opaque, and what people in art galleries is very different than I think what a mass audience sees in terms of art. I think of all the art forms, it's the most insular, and so a lot of most people I don't think could name more than 5 or 10 famous artists.
No, I think it's your basic ones, and it's the ones you also see in a lot times. Your Kuntz feels like celebrity.
Yeah, Jeff
Like they drop
Koons
that
and-
as if they think that makes them worldly, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of people who end up doing like collabs with fashion. So like,
Yeah.
oh, I know about Kusama because she's doing like a Louis Vuitton.
That's the dot one.
The dot one, yeah. And if you walk by like 57th and 5th, there's like an animatron
yes.
of her that like Disney World where she's just like doing
Doing her
dots. It's
dots,
very
yeah.
creepy, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of the art that gets well known is not good. I think it's bad, and it's a lot of stuff that like Drake collects or Justin Bieber. Like Cause is, you might not know him by name, but he does these kind of like big dolls, cartoonish figures, and they have big X's in their eyes.
Okay.
Yes, I do know that one.
And
yeah.
they're like a lot of that stuff is kind of adjacent to like streetwear culture and like Supreme, and it's not, to me, not very deep. It's like but it's super expensive, and it's kind of just become a symbol of luxury, and I think like certain celebrities want to project that onto people.
That's
and,
how it feels, because as soon as you see a lot of celebrities, you're noticing they're like when they're doing cribs and they drop, and then you start seeing that in every single house. I can't help but be like, ugh,
Yeah.
turned off by that. All of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know. It
Your
feels to me
taste
this
is-
art doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
It feels like they were just told this is good,
Totally.
and then they bought it. So then it takes away from me thinking that that's good art.
Yeah, well, you want to think like when you have so much money, you can use it to cultivate your own unique taste, and your taste is just like letting people know that you're rich. You know? It's
Yeah,
like,
your
what-
taste is
what's the point?
you
Yeah.
hired an art advisor, or you saw
Yeah.
like you went to a Balenciaga show and you saw like, you know, some sort of Banksy shirt there, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's cool and popular, and so I'm hoping that like I can make fun of this stuff, and then also maybe get people to be like, oh yeah, maybe that there is a little bit of shallowness to this kind of work, and maybe
Yeah.
there's other stuff
Yeah.
out there that's a little more deep.
I've always, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but this is very conspiracy theory.
Let's hear it.
That a lot of art, especially high, like very expensive pieces, is a way to transfer money from country to country without paying the taxes.
Ooh, conspiracy.
Meaning, like, if I want to bring over a lot of money without paying the taxes, I can buy it as an art piece, and then when it gets here, I can liquidate it.
Yes, there's definitely a lot of shady stuff going on
'Cause
in the
sometimes
art
you're
world,
like,
and it's like a place to
what?
park money. And there's also some weirder stuff about like art flipping,
Yes.
where you know, you'll buy something, and just because you're rich and famous and have a good art collection, the fact that you bought it makes that work and the art of the artist more valuable, and then you'll quickly sell that work.
Okay, so someone like, let's say Buffett. Warren Buffett, not Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy
but I'm
Buffett,
sure
yeah.
he has a lot of money too.
a lot
But
of
doesn't he famously
Margaritaville
like
art.
he like
Yeah.
flies coach? He's one of those billionaires.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like-
He's barefoot.
but yeah.
He's a beach bum.
Yeah, he had no shoes on the plane.
I can't believe
Warren
I just
Buffett.
so he could probably like take an artist and levitate them.
Yes.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
And then sell it and then make a profit off of that, because he's a rich guy. Everyone is aware of him, and so
pump
you
and dump with stocks.
It's-
Where he
yeah.
goes, this is the new person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then other people
everybody-
will buy their work because a famous collector bought it. But here's the interesting thing: is that galleries won't always sell to you, even if you can afford it.
Okay.
It's like one of the only markets where it doesn't actually matter if you can buy it, if you have the money, or even if you're willing to pay more. They reject people all the time because it's totally bizarre. So like, let's say Joe Rogan, for example, or like someone wealthy wanted to buy, went to Gagosian Gallery, that's one of the bigger galleries, and he wanted to buy a piece by an up and coming artist. They would say no, even if they had it.
Interesting.
is it because of Joe Rogan's whatever surrounds him,
Correct.
controversy?
Okay.
They
Not
would
even-
think
not
it would
even-
depreciate
not
it,
even controversy,
maybe.
but just his like brand is not.
They're worried that
and
he
they
would put it in his sauna. No, Joe, you can't put it in
But
there.
they wanted to go to like the Rebels, or like a really wealthy family of collectors in
Yes.
Miami. Like they
Okay.
want it to be placed in the right place, or they want a museum to buy it, or a gallery, or someone who will guarantee that they won't ever sell it, or if they do that, then they'll donate it to a museum. That kind of stuff. So it's it doesn't work like any other market.
So
No, it's
interesting.
wild
On Earth.
because
Economy of art.
as somebody that goes into the art world, like a true, like an artist that paints, let's say, how do you even make money? Do you have to befriend a rich group of people? Are you grown into a wealth and that helps you out a lot more? Or can you grow up poor and be a rich artist?
I mean, that can happen, but I feel like it's like, any
Art.
any art field, like having money and connections helps. Going to school, knowing kind of what type of art is in kind of, and where to pursue and who to befriend. It's like comedy, where it's like networks are super important.
Okay.
And the equivalent of getting with a manager is getting with a gallery who represents you. But in the same way, like if you're an artist and a major gallery signs you or takes you on, that in and of itself increases your value
Okay.
and legitimizes you and makes your work worth more because you've kind of been like chosen.
Yes.
There's some parallels.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so where could I go? Like, what's your top 5 places that you would recommend people to go in New York City if they want to actually see some art that is not like, for example, like you're going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and you're just overwhelmed. So, like, where could I go to see really great stuff that is maybe not outside of the confines of this like exclusive community?
Yeah. So, Chelsea and Tribeca are like kind of where the art galleries are, and they're a bunch of the Lower East Side and all over the city, but the main areas are Chelsea and Tribeca, and that's where all the major art galleries are.
Okay.
In New York, and they're all free.
Oh, that's so cool.
And every like 2-3 months, they have a new show of one of their artists.
Can you get free drinks there too?
If you go in the openings, which are usually on Thursday.
So it's like a
now
way
I'm
to
in
have a
art.
cheap
they're
night.
almost like Thursday 6 to 8 usually are like the openings, and you can do a crawl where you just go.
Oh my God.
You see
how
people
fun.
who are not at all looking at the art; they're just purely there
To hang.
and
This is such a lady journey. I mean,
Yeah.
free activities.
free drinks,
Yes.
maybe a little
cheese.
a little
Yeah.
cheese action.
Good.
Hang out
Love that.
with
Yeah, that's
maybe
a
some
meal.
wealthy people.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I
Are
love
wealthy people
Costco.
going?
Wealthy people going. A lot of cool kids. A lot of like Parsons.
Okay.
Checking out the scene.
like Times Square kind of girlies who.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. A giant skirt and a bad t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love the Lower East Side look now,
It's a look.
the space buns.
It
Yeah.
looks as we got in trouble for this because we basically said Gen Z was this way, but like they've been shopping out of a lost and found.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that the different shoe trend, meaning like pick a shoe that you would not think goes with that outfit, like cowboy boots.
Oh, I love
with
it.
This.
It is just anarchy. It's like it doesn't matter what you wear when you're hot.
Yes.
And we've learned that.
Well, that's
yeah, hot and skinny.
That's what I was thinking. Like, are there fashion trends, or is it just what hot people are wearing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels that's the hard thing with like I don't it's not necessarily like I buy art because I want it to be worth anything, but it's what I like. But sometimes you're just like,
Putting art in your home is a huge challenge. And we've talked about this a lot.
yeah.
Because, like I've moved into my own space wanting to decorate it, but wanting to not also spend like $800 or, $2,000, $200,000. Like what would you recommend if someone was like, I want to have like a nice print where I'm giving money to an artist. I want to find something that is my own taste. Like, where do you go? You go on the internet and it's just like you're in Amazon and now suddenly I have a picture of space. Yeah. I don't know how I got this. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. No, it's tough. I don't have that. Like, I have some friends who have given me like paintings, stuff like that. But to have like real art is, even for someone who's pretty unknown, is quite expensive.
Yeah.
And
like,
it should be. Like, they should be, paid.
absolutely.
They spend a lot of time. But, for something like the size of that poster or whatever, it can be like at least $2,000 for something that you would like, and then it can easily go up from there.
$2,000. I mean, I think it's worth it if it's something that you really like, and it's something like when I lived in Indianapolis, they would always have in the summer the Talbot Street Art Fair, and people would bring their beautiful paintings and their handmade pottery, and I always love going to it. And it's like if you are looking for something for your space, and you find something that you fall in love with, I'd say get it, even if it is $2,000, because it's like you're gonna have it forever.
Yeah.
Unless you redecorate. And then you throw it out.
Well, it's like sometimes it's really funny. Like you go to Home Goods and you go to
it's
their
just
like prefab.
laugh, laugh.
Yeah, I would avoid the like Ray Dunn.
Right, yeah, I love it.
There's got to be some pieces in there that like work in a weird
but they're
abstracty
always like
way.
printed very poorly.
Very, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cheap, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it feels like you start seeing it in a lot of like men, like bachelor apartments where they have a bed on the floor. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the city
And they're, like,
skyline
Yeah.
photo.
Oh yeah, and then at the last
Yeah.
moment, like one person scratched some paint on, just so it's like a
Yes.
little thing, but it's
Yes.
a print.
Yes.
It's like a digital print. Yeah, I don't want Epson printer stuff.
Oh yeah, they have that
No.
like all over IKEA too, where you see like you go to someone's home, yeah, and it's just like the massive like New York City skyline.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
just
like a Roku
It's so tacky.
Painted with like a palette
screensaver.
knife. I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yes.
There was a movie that I watched years ago. I can't remember the name of it. Audrey Plaza was in it, and she played like a person that was obsessed with this influencer played by
England Goes
Elizabeth.
West.
I
Yes.
love that film.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
And
it's so good.
The guy with the hat that does art, he would get like Goodwill stuff and then just write a word on it. And it was so fucking funny because I felt like it was the first time somebody had made fun of that kind of art before, the pretentiousness of it.
The found art. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not interesting. at
No.
all. It's like very boring, and I feel like you see. I don't know. I made a video about Pharrell, who just had like an art collection or an art auction, and I would say like that exemplifies the type of work that I feel like is so vacuous completely, and it's like shiny. It's like the equivalent of like the people who wait online for Supreme drops.
Yeah, I know. You're always outside. You're like, who are these
Who
people?
are they? Yeah, Kith, all the-
Paying $300 for a shirt.
That says Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just waiting to sell to other like rich white kids in the suburbs. That's my I think, but no, I think they're there to
Yeah.
need these Supreme jobs. Yeah, it's always like the art is like a skateboard designed, by whatever, like Jeff Koons or something like that. It's like, why is there a skate?
Yeah,
What is
just
this?
A random collab, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of like home decor, like a lot of your stuff is so hilarious because you pick out, you have an eye for this, just these gauche like juxtapositions that people have. Like, what is something you notice overall in celebrity home decor that you just think is like hilarious?
I think often the like Pinterest copy paste that I see,
Yes, yeah.
where it's like this doesn't look like you or any. I don't see you at all in this home. It looks like you just saw what the trends were or random things on Etsy and you put it together, or you hired some designer and you're living in a museum. Like it's
Yeah.
It's such like the way we were talking about that earlier. It's like every home that you look at on StreetEasy or on Zillow, it's like they all have this kind of like same like coffee shop interior, beige on beige, like the beige.
It's mind-boggling how bad it is out there.
It almost feels like even when you go into like a public space like that, like there are so many places that are all kind of starting to look uniform because we've all like decided collectively that things should look a certain way.
Yeah, if you want to show to your like customers or your Airbnb renters that like you have this is a safe space and they're they're millennials and this is where you belong, then you have to style it. Like I think someone called it like airspace. Like it feels like it doesn't exist in any specific city, and it's like global. Like you'll look at an Airbnb in Barcelona. It's like looks exactly the same as Williamsburg. And it's like why it has
like
the same
Starbucks.
prints.
It's not offensive. Well, because we just stayed in an Airbnb in Maine, and I have to say, I was like, it does look good, but it's the same. Meaning this works, but you see like a centerpiece and it's got these like glass balls that were like $30 each, and you're like, but why?
Yeah, from like Pier 1.
Is there a
going out of
personal
business.
attachment? It's just like shit that collects dust, and then later on I feel like it will lose its appeal and end up in Trash Island in the ocean.
Yeah, like cheap mid-century knockoffs too. I feel like that's like very, very sleek, very modern, a lot of white. There was an article today about how like the barn house is the new McMansion.
I've seen it.
Ooh.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. There's another, I forgot what his name is, a black guy that wears like a do-rag and he always talks with
Oh yeah.
the little mic thing from his phone, and he was talking about they called it the homonification of HGTV.
Yes.
And it's the barn house look. I also get that way with like I like Tom Edison lights or whatever, like the filament, but
bulb,
you see them now and you're like,
No,
I think of Christian blogger in a weird way.
Yeah.
Or like
or like
that was very
cocktail bar.
Williamsburg in 2010.
Yeah,
Yes.
like mixology. Yeah.
Suspenders on the bartender.
Yeah, where I prefer more of, and I don't think you can do this in a B&B space because then you would feel maybe creepy. But like we went over to Benny Feldman's apartment and he did
Love
his
the
podcast
space.
and it reminded me, it was all things that he really liked, but it reminded me of when you go to a nature park and there's the office that you go to first for the map and then they have like
The displays.
the displays, and that's what it reminded me of. And I'm like, oh, when do you get to see this?
There's like a hawk, a taxidermied hawk.
Yeah.
He had
That
a
I was
little
like,
snake skin. He had his crystals, and he told us he had categorized them by like natural element, and it was lovely. It was such a fun like space to be in.
yeah.
Because I felt like it felt like we were at the gift shop at the nature park.
The Bronx Zoo.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. I was like, oh my god, we always make fun. We love to rip on like straight dudes and their their decor. It's like what's the best that you see? Like a nautical theme, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, Captain, but
Yeah, a
but
bed
he-
frame. Oh,
yeah.
It's like a bed frame.
But he really nailed it, and it was so fun, and it was such his personality in the space, and it worked cohesively as decor. Actually,
Yes. Because we were talking about that, like what constitutes bad taste?
yes. Like, what does that mean?
That is.
Because I think
It's-
I have bad taste.
You think you have bad taste?
I'm like, I love like a huge necklace. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want a necklace that looks like a scarf. Like, is that wrong?
But it feels authentic to you.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's maybe what's most important is like, does this feel like an actual decision you made because of your attraction to something, or is it something you picked up in the zeitgeist, or that you didn't think about it at all? Like those are the kind of two extremes.
That's a great distinction. Although I will say, like, sometimes what I struggle with, which we all do, we all have like many parts, so it's like one day you might be like attracted to something that you're like, oh my god, like so feminine, so flowy, like I love this. I love like a hot pink couch.
Happens to me all the time. Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, we've all been there. And then like 2 days later, you're like, well, now I love this other thing, and they do not match. And now in my home, I have a hot pink couch and I have a lazy boy recliner. It's just like,
Yeah. But it could.
It could in
What's
the
the
right.
way around that,
could.
though?
In the
What's
right
the way
way.
around
Just,
that? Do you think like mood boarding, a
having a
space?
mansion with a lot of rooms. That's the trick. A lot of rooms.
yes.
you
Move
live
it
like
around.
I
this.
love
Yeah.
this advice. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
it.
You should be rich. Why aren't you rich?
Of course. Why didn't
Yes.
I think of that?
Well, it is hard to, because sometimes you go into a place, it's really weird, like, where you're like, why is that bad taste?
Yeah.
Like a bad
And you know it.
dresser. And you know it. You're like, is it because the proportions are off? Is it because they're 3 years behind they're wearing, like, I always got annoyed when I saw girls wear platform sneakers when I'm like, that's been dead for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, who am I? That's such a shitty
yeah.
an opinion.
We
But
will
yeah.
get heat for that on YouTube. They will come after us.
No, I think that's for sure it. It's like, oh, you didn't put much time into this. Also the cheapness or quality materials.
Does it?
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think like, especially where the world is, we're like practically just on fire all the time, like buying cheaper stuff to save money. It's just trashy, I think, at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, is it because I've been influenced?
True.
You have, yeah.
Yes. And that's not my personal taste, but I have to tell you, I do not know what my personal taste is. Like, I actually like carpet.
That's okay. You don't have to. This is a safe space.
People
To
get
admit-
so
This is an inclusive space.
wall to wall
Sarah.
carpeting.
like
In the
a
bathroom?
bedroom. No, like a bedroom with carpeting.
Okay.
Like it's quiet. It's coziness to me. I've stayed in the B&B at Fort Collins, and they had carpet, and it was oatmeal, and I was like, I don't know why, but I find this comforting. But I feel like a lot of people would find this awful.
I love that carpet in the sunroom. Yeah,
In
you're
the
like,
sunroom.
cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as long as things kind of match, you're not just like taking wildly different aesthetics from different worlds, and something from the barn world, something from minimalism, something from maximalism, and smashing it all together.
Yeah.
Yes, having an aesthetic across the board.
Yeah, that's cohesive.
yes,
a little bit.
yes.
And
Okay,
I
that
always
makes sense.
Appreciate it. this feels very snobby, and the only reason why I get to go there is to do stand up at the Soho House.
Oh,
That game room area where you do stand up a lot. I've been in there where you're like, I actually like whoever did the design. Also, the people that do the window works at Housing Works.
oh my
I
God,
like Housing
Housing
Works.
Works. They're on another level there.
Yeah.
I don't know who does that, but
And
I'm
you
like,
can buy weed there. So how about that?
yeah, bonus.
That's why I love it. I'm like, I'm high. I
Yeah.
love
But
this
I'm like,
couch.
whoever does the window work for this to put all the furniture together of all the donated stuff did a really great job of making it looks good
So
to me.
Now,
Let's go check it out.
what's your space like at home? Like, what are you working with?
My space is a lot of plants.
Oh, I love that.
My fiance has a real green thumb, so we have yes.
Nice. That's hard.
It is hard.
It
She
is.
spends a lot. We have probably like 70 plants.
Wow.
So
she
That's
probably
such
does
a great
research.
aesthetic, though.
Right, with sunlight and care.
Oh yeah, and she's
It's a
like
lot of
moving it
work.
around, and she's so chill. I was like, come
Spraying,
home,
yeah.
like, do you notice anything different? And I'm like, no. She's like, I've moved every single plant to a different place. We're like, yeah, that's amazing.
Plant aesthetic is so gorgeous. I mean, having plants. I have 5 plants now, and they are hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
Because we have the scaffolding outside my building, so they're just reaching. They're like reaching through the window as far as they can. But I love the green space. It's so gorgeous. But it's like just maintaining so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of maintaining.
So you have
and
the
then
plants.
I have the plants. I have kind of like a wood, mid-century, modern coffee table, which I got from a
Okay.
vintage.
Yeah, like what do you look for when you go buying stuff to curate your place?
I think I like, because of kind of the plants, I think I like definitely a warmer kind of touch and very colorful,
Okay.
as you can see from how
Yes.
stupidly
Yes.
dressed.
Yes.
So, like warm woods, and we have a white rug, but that's only because kind of we have some like red side tables that are plastic, but that are very, and that I forget its name, but it's kind of like a tubular side table.
Okay.
Our bookshelves are IKEA. I think that's allowed.
Okay. Every
Uh,
now and then you need a little piece.
a little piece.
Yeah.
It serves its purpose.
But we have books on them, and we kind of put little plants. I would say it's a little maximalist. It's closer to that. I wish I could just show you, and you just put an image
yeah.
right there.
Well, you could send us the photos and we'll plop it up
I
on
have
the video.
a wall of like paintings and posters. There's a lot of art and photographs and posters everywhere.
It sounds beautiful.
When you buy art, do you ever get tired of it or feel like you need to move it to a different room?
So that's why I like having a lot of it, because then you're just like the idea of being like, I have one piece that this is what I'm gonna have and this is what I'm gonna show. That seems impossible. It's like getting a tattoo to me. That's like, how do you pick
Yeah.
what you're gonna have? So I feel like you just make all the decisions, and so we kind of have like a salon style wall that goes to the ceiling.
Gorgeous. Now, how do you put pieces of art together? Like, how do you match the art?
That's hard. We played we would like we laid it out on the ground first, and then we kind of we just like move things around, both like spatially and based on the frames and like the weight, to kind of give it a balance. And then we play because it's hard because you don't really realize it, but if there are too many deep or dark colors on one side, or too many small pieces, then you get it kind of out of whack, and you get like dizzy.
Well, we have a gallery wall above our TV, and sometimes I look at it and I'm like, what were you thinking? It's like, there's like 2 African masks. One's from Pier 1 and then one's from South Africa, and I cannot tell you which one is from what.
Yeah.
Then there's like kind of like decor that should be in Maine. It's the state of Maine on a sky blue, and I'm like, this doesn't go with this, but we just put it together. But yeah, it is putting
we
a
have
gallery.
3 pieces.
Yeah.
We have one for each room. We have one for each room. But they are one. There 2 are abstract, and one is a print of lemons. So
Lemons?
Lemons.
Okay.
Is that in the kitchen?
It's in the bathroom, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, just like as like brighten it up.
Yeah.
Like nothing happened in here, right?
Yeah.
So I want to get more art for my space, but yeah, of course the lady journeyers know I bought a rug several months ago, and I thought it was the greatest rug when I saw it, and then when it arrived I hated it and I felt it was a mistake. And now
Rugs are hard to buy online.
so hard, and I went for a more bold. I went with it was like kind of a maybe like a sunflower yellow, a muted red, and a muted blue. So it was like primary colors. It matched. We have a large red and blue kind of abstract painting, and I thought, okay, like it matches, and it's grown on me now, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And, you know, I don't know what to do because it's like, what I'm not going to throw the rug out. Like, not in this climate. You can't be like throwing a rug away when the world, you know, it's like, I'll have this for my life.
Yeah. You're gonna be buried in the rug.
I will be buried. I will be roll me in
like
the rug.
a whacked mob.
Yeah.
Boss.
So, I mean, for me, it's been very trial and error, you know, to not have my apartment look like the space of an 18-year-old man in a basement, you know?
Yeah. Well, what are like some of your pet peeves when you walk into a home?
Oh, yes. Love to hear that.
Pet peeves.
What's irking you about this space?
I already have a lot.
Beautiful.
I've never been in my own personal space where I'm like, I have done it.
I've arrived. Yeah.
This is guest room decor.
No, this is. I love the no. I love the pillows on the unmade bed. No. Do your guests sleep no sheets?
Oh no, I have to make the bed. I've had a few guests here recently that I feel like I've been running an Airbnb, so I just got lazy. Like, because I always have to make sure it's clean and tidy for them. It's a basement.
Nice. They don't deserve more. The guests.
This drives me insane, this drop ceiling, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, this looks like you're in office space.
It does.
Yes.
That maybe I could just embrace the office space.
Yeah.
Just
and
go
make it
full
industrial.
Office. Just go.
Make it Severance in here.
Yes, I love it.
Okay,
But
let me
pet
think
peeves.
about what pet peeves. Rugs too small.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, you go into someone's room and they have this little rug and the rest of the floor is bare.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's even the point? All I'm thinking about is how small your room is. The rugs can make the room bigger.
Yes.
And you are like an idiot. And I say this to their face and they kick me out. But no, you know, put the rug should go under all the furniture. Right?
Yes.
That's kind of the rule. Have
Yes.
a leg of the rug under all the furniture. That's a little pet peeve. I won't say that to them. Nothing on the walls. I think that's a lot of dudes have just
Nothing.
no art, no posters.
I
And then
sometimes
you're like,
think sometimes they put them on the wall too high up.
yes.
It's weird.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you should. And I have a few.
Higher
I
than
think
the
that
eye
piece is
line,
too high right
yeah.
now. The one on that wall.
Yeah, but it's small, so it's okay. I think this black one is pretty good, but it's above the TV.
Yeah, but that Southwest one,
Yeah, you think it's a little high. I love that piece. Who did that piece?
Mary Baxter got it in Marfa, and she's actually a really great artist, and that was one of her less expensive pieces, but it's one of her. I just do make these a lot as practicing and playing around.
Yeah.
So that was about 200,
And it's
300.
Oh, that's great.
Brushstrokes are solid.
Yeah,
I really like
she's
it.
a great artist.
Oh, so rugs too small.
Rugs too small.
That's a no-go. No art on the walls. Also a
Color
no-go.
coordinated books, rainbow.
Oh
color
my
coordinated-
gosh. Hilarious. Hilarious.
sorry.
That's a
That's
bad
so
trend, or
funny.
the one that was people were kind.
Oh, that's
I
even
never
worse.
saw it in
with-
homes, but just online, the page is out rather than the binding out.
Yeah. Well, okay. What do you? That's like psycho prison stuff.
It
If you
means
keep-
you're not reading.
And that's
Yes.
to me same with the color coordinated.
Right.
Where
They're
you're like, oh, I
coordinate
want
by subject.
Yeah, let me get
course.
the Great Gatsby. Oh, that's in the yellow section. Like what?
Can you get like a library that runs like that? Yeah.
that seems horrific to me.
I always had a pet peeve. I find like just an insane amount of some people you go their couch, they have random big throw pillows.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
too many throw pillows on the couch. I get it. I love a throw, but like if they are clashing, like we've got like a metallic mirrored one and then one has tassels. It's like, no, it's just too many.
Yeah, it's like a little granny pillow.
Yeah.
And oh, the big metallic ones that are almost kind of hard.
Yeah.
Those.
Well,
How do I sit? I want to sit.
there's
Yeah.
a thing I know in culinary world with garnishes. If you garnish a plate, it needs to have function with the food, meaning it needs to be complimentary that you can eat it. Like,
Oh yes.
it's part of it. Pointless garnishing is awful. So I kind of get that way with when I see a bed with 20 pillows on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, where you put those all on the floor. I have 4 pillows on my bed, and 2 of them I have to put on the floor, and it drives me insane.
I know. I just picture someone. This is my tiny pillow. This one's for my arm.
It's
They go like to the base of the bed sometimes to throw pillows.
It's wild.
It's 20. I'm like, even if you wanted to plop on and have a quick nap, you have to throw your pillow. So I find pointless decor annoying to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Ornament just for its own sake.
Like the glass balls. Like I remember my friend, when we first moved into our own apartments, she bought, there's a glass head that you could get at IKEA. And she bought it. It was $40. And she also was really bad with her money. And it was one of the talking points whenever we'd come over, being like, why do you have this? Does this bring you joy?
A conversation piece. Yeah.
Or like a branch. Sometimes you just like a branch. Did your dog bring this back from the park? Like, you just have a branch?
Random decor. How do you feel about Marie Kondo? Do you like, just essentialism with pieces, or?
No. That she turned out to be also a fraud too. She like admitted that it's hard now that she has kids. It's hard for her to throw stuff out.
Yeah.
You also can't be a minimalist when you have a partner.
You can't throw out their things. Yeah.
Yes, and that's all I want to do.
Oh yeah, his stuff is the worst.
Well, it's not. I think it's okay in our apartment, but like he likes to take magazine covers and put them in frames. Mm-hmm. And then after a while,
Maxim, like what kind of?
Like Rolling Stone.
Okay.
So we actually have a wall, but we have a lot of comics. Like, so I'm like, it's not my kind. That's basically what I'm saying.
Face of a star.
Yeah.
In my
Who are the
living room.
comedians that you have to?
Well, one's not going to be popular, Louis C.K. But we're friends with him.
It was pre scandal.
It
was pre something.
And I think there's David Letterman, Steve Martin, some old like Carlin-ish.
Yeah, so
probably.
it's like heroes.
His aesthetic is like comedy club hallway.
Yeah.
It is. We have laminates.
And that feels like the bathroom feels like a great place for that.
That's what I feel like. To
funky
me,
stuff in the bathroom.
To me, that's decor that should be in the office.
Oh, it is very office.
It's office space. Like my things that I've worked with and people that I've worked with and my heroes.
Yeah, like a signed baseball.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about sea-themed bathrooms?
I
love them.
You love them? Okay, then they're great.
I love them so much.
Even in New York City?
I think they're so
no
fun.
sea.
My grandmother had one growing up, and it was like in her trailer in Indiana. And when you went in, it was like it felt like you were on a vacation in the bathroom. She had giant conch shells.
Yes.
She had like the shell soap. She had like the bath pearls in a dish that looked like a starfish. I mean, it was just so fun.
I can enjoy it. Like when we go to a B&B, like when we went to Maine, I was like, this works.
Nautical, yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, even if it's not my thing, if it's personal to you and there's that connection, I think that's valid.
I like a theme. I have to say, I love a theme for the bathroom. You gotta have a theme.
For the bathroom.
We're doing for the baby's room, we're going nautical under the ocean, because what ended up happening is Joe's family goes to Maine a lot. We've gotten a lot of stuff over there that are from Maine that are sea, and we have a whale piece that we got at a gallery, and then our friend drew us a big octopus that's a print, and I was like, well, I guess it works out perfectly for a kid.
Yeah. You just have a lot of undersea stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So we went. Sometimes you don't have choice. It's just what you're given in life, and you're like, well, I have to make this work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your baby will be
nautical.
It's going to be a deep sea diver.
I love that.
Yes. But it's funny because you're like, I didn't have a strong opinion, but this is what we're going for.
Yeah.
Just to go with the flow of life.
Undersea stuff is so cute for babies, I think.
I think it works.
Baby animals.
Whales.
Little baby seahorse.
Yeah.
Starfish.
Oh.
But this was a trend that I liked that was getting called out on TikTok. Celebs, when they're like, this wood is from Winston Churchill's desk.
Dakota Johnson. Yeah, that is well, everything has to be. That's too much. Okay, so like
it got so
like
ridiculous.
No piece can be random. Everything they did like 23andMe on my desk. And
you have to draw it back to something amazing.
Came back, yeah. It was Hitler's bunker, just the last cement block.
Somebody had taken every kind of crib or like architectural digest house and isolated to these moments, and it was really a funny trend that I didn't pick up on until it was isolated, that I was like, oh my God, celebrities really do get off to being like, this store is from a monastery in Thailand that no one else, they were going to tear it down.
Well, everything's about stories now.
Yes.
Everything has to have a
Yes.
story.
A background.
The door, it went from nothing and now it has everything.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
the classic
emotional.
American rags to riches.
Yes.
Yeah, like we went to Japan and there are these little boys who had this green vase and we stole it from them. We hit them in the face, and now we just steal green vases everywhere we go.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's our
God.
So you
thing.
could just
Funny.
like the thing. It could just
Yeah.
be pretty.
Yeah, you can just get it at West Elm
Yeah.
and be like, it serves function in our life.
You know
Yes.
that desk is probably from West Elm, and
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson is lying. It's not.
She did get called out on. She did lie about her limes. Apparently,
yeah,
she is
yeah.
allergic to them.
Well, this is all these tours they have someone else come in and set decorate, and there's an
Yeah.
egregious amount of fruit like all over
It would go stale.
the house. Like I remember Hillary Clinton's house for some reason had like in the dining room just 20 avocados. It's like
Who's making that much and keeping up with
You're
that?
making
sauce
those
in
are
her
going
purse.
bad.
Yeah,
You gotta-
you got to put those in the
To go with
freezer.
hot sauce.
Yes. Oh yeah, she did say.
Yeah.
Though I live for shit like that. When you see that as a trend, all of a sudden you're like, that's really interesting. But it is fascinating. Like these people do get people that curate their space. Like they've never showed a crib or an apartment or a house that looks like most people's.
No,
No.
they can't. Well, also they probably invite them. They've probably I don't know how it works with Architectural Digest or something, but they're like, yeah, this is PR. We want to do PR.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of money on this stupid house.
Well,
And
certain
so-
couches blow up from these, like the boucle one that I think you've called out.
yeah,
Is that how you say it?
Boucle, yeah.
The white.
I don't
that
like
became
It
so
looks like
popular.
A shaved lamb every
Yeah.
time I look at a
So
boucle,
it's hideous.
and they're not comfortable at
No.
all. They're like scratch.
Yeah.
That's
There's
a trend I don't get.
that's also a pet peeve that I don't like is like furniture that you're supposed to enjoy that it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I can be into a decorative chair. Like my mom has one. She's like, don't sit on that. And we're like, well, should it be in the living room then? If
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
supposed to be sitting
Yeah,
on
it's
it,
an art
like
piece.
you
We
should
look at it. We consider the chair.
Yeah.
maybe you should put it in a place that most likely someone's not going to sit on it. Like
It's right in front of the TV. Don't fucking sit on it.
that is decorative, and you're like, well, it looks like it's meant to be
You're
there.
supposed to question the concept of
Yeah,
chairness.
it was just like just a rickety antique looking one, and I can admire that, but it's annoying to me that it's presented as something that you can enjoy and that you're not supposed to.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The functionality. It's like, I guess when you see those gigantic apartments and they have like, open floor plan where they have like 6 living rooms in there. It's like, well, that's our show living room. And
Yeah.
really, we're over here.
Just we open Christmas presents there.
Yeah,
That's the
so
only
that's it.
time
That's
we
for
use
our
this living room.
photos.
Some
Yeah.
people had I forgot the name of the room, but it was like where you sit when you're grieving somebody. Like where I grew up, some houses were big enough. There was one extra front room that nobody really hung out in.
And that's when you go to like
Grieve.
for a wake.
For the wake.
That's the wake room.
Parlor.
The
Or the shiver
parlor.
room.
It was a
Oh,
parlor
yes.
room.
It was a parlor.
Yeah.
Parlor, yes.
But you as time goes on, like those houses aren't really having those kind of rooms anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so antiquated. It's like for when Mr. Parsons comes to call, put him in the parlor for you, like
Have him
courting
wait
when
in
you're like
there.
17 in the
Yeah,
1800s.
And you grieve for like 3 months.
Yeah, that he's gone.
So Dan, like, what any fun things going on for you this summer? Like, what kind of journeys are you on these days?
Journeys. Okay, I've been going to Pilates.
I love it.
How about
that?
I'm a Pilates head myself.
I went 2 times. And
Are you
but I
the
bought
only guy there?
I am the only guy there.
It's
so this
it's very female driven.
It's entirely,
Yes.
but this is a great thing. I realized at first I
Yeah.
was nervous I'd be the only guy there,
Mm-hmm.
but I get so much attention from the instructor. First of all, because I've never done it before, so I'm like ungainly. I'm like a
You're probably not
gorilla.
flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Men's
not very,
flexibility is atrocious.
not good at all.
Yeah.
I am also not flexible, I will have you know, and the more I work out, the less flexible I get. I cannot even touch
tighter
my
hips.
toes right now, so don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
But she's always like adjusting. Like anytime it's core stuff, she makes it easier, and every time it's like any like arm weight stuff, she's like adding. Like okay, I have something. I feel
Yeah.
a little powerful.
Now,
Why
is this
Pilates?
A Pilates mat class, or are you doing
The recliner.
Okay,
I'm
nice,
on the
very
recliner,
nice.
Which is who invented this device?
It's
I don't
wild
know.
that you're going straight to that. That's wild
Yes,
to me.
I've
Good
heard
for you.
people take special classes just to learn how to use the recliner.
Mm-hmm.
I freeballed it. I'm gonna like fuck up my back completely, but
I don't get how to use it. It's a weird contraption. That's the one with the pulleys, and it's
there
like
are pulleys and you can like go
seats.
reverse. Yeah, and it like
I see
tickles your
Eliza
anus a little bit
Schlesinger
if
always
you-
on it.
Oh, if you
Yeah,
mess up, if
Yeah,
you
if
get it
you
wrong.
mess up. No, it does. It's like a medieval torture device, but that's
but like you're just
awesome.
thrown into it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I saw, like a podcaster like tweeted like, hey, you know, like if you're a guy and you have never tried this, like it's actually totally challenging and different than you've done. I'm like, all right, I'm in. That's
Good
it.
for
That's
you.
all
Yeah,
it
yeah,
needs
yeah.
for my masculinity to.
Now, are you noticing
Feel
any
secure.
difference like in your core strength
Oh,
with just two classes?
It just burns.
Isn't
That's
it great?
The main,
It's the best feeling.
it just makes me feel like my core is horrible.
I took a class through my gym. It's Pilates, but with toys. So
Okay.
we don't do recliner or anything like that. But we do like the rings and like
Yeah.
it's so wild when you get into these like tiny. It's like I'm just lifting my leg a tiny bit, and then by the 10th time you do it, you're like, this is the worst
This
pain
is hell.
I've felt in my
Yeah.
life, and it's so fun.
Well, also that's what's good about it is I can be like, I psych myself into not thinking it's that hard before, because it's not like, oh, I'm not going for a run, you know, I'm not like lifting a lot of weights. I'm just kind of like lying down, and
Yeah,
then you're
you
in it and
kinda,
you're like, oh fuck, like I'm holding this like plank position and then moving my right leg in and out,
Yeah.
my left arm is pulling. I don't know how I got to this, but it's great.
Fantastic.
So that's my journey.
The next time we see you, you're ripped.
I'm gonna
I
be
guarantee.
I'll
Yeah.
be very just toned. Just really. Well, I'm going to LA, so I feel like I have to.
Oh
you-
yeah,
oh my
yeah. It's a
gosh.
different vibe out there.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
I'm sure
you'll
there's more
enjoy.
men that do Pilates out in LA than they are
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, here men just their exercise is just like running into the ocean. I
Why-
feel like that's what they do.
How come men won't? Why are some exercises more female driven than male driven? And it makes sense. You could go. There's ladies
Yes.
if you want to date.
The Pilates is really very similar to what you're doing when you're doing like weightlifting, except for when you're weightlifting, you're not able to target the tiny muscles that Pilates is able to target. So
To me, it seems like women might not want to bulk up as much, and
Yes.
so Pilates and bars, it's like a lot more about toning
Sinewy.
and core and like emphasizing certain like
Yes.
muscles and tightness as opposed to
you're getting
just like
shredded.
yoked.
Rip.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I had that opinion recently. I'm looking at Dave Chappelle. I'm like, what is his purpose of getting ripped?
It's too.
He's a comic. What is he lifting?
Yeah.
It seems egregious. Obviously, it's for aesthetics, but it is really funny when somebody gets. Sean O'Connor had a bit years ago that I really liked about like he worked with a restaurant manager that was ripped, and he's like, for what?
yeah. Also, no one wants to like look at jacked guys or like hot guys on stage.
I have to say though, that was kind of my plan. I'm going to a destination wedding in 3 weeks, and I was like, if I could just manage to show up completely shredded to all these girls, I haven't seen them in like months and months. I just think it would be hilarious, just like out in my swimsuit, like, oh, this
Just ripped.
bodybuilding.
Just like, oh, she's been wearing a lot of low back, no midriff.
Just naked, walking
Yeah,
around.
just naked.
Hi, is
Well.
this a nude beach? Anyway, thank you so much for coming on,
Okay,
Dan. You're
thanks for
so
having me.
fantastic. Where can everybody find you?
The Dan Rosen on Instagram.
You guys
Just do
have to
that.
check out his stuff. I'm
Check it
sure
out.
you've already
It's more of
seen
this.
it.
Yeah.
It's this. I'm sure you guys have already seen it. Our people, they're into this. They're into
Okay.
it. They love it.
It's in the algorithm.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming on, and enjoy your summer and enjoy Pilates.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much.
Lady Journey.
Lady
See you
Journey.
at Pilates.